Here's a compilation of things you can do with Google Sheets and Google Sites, getting Google Sheets into Google Sites, integrating Google Sites with Google Sheets. Let's just get into it. We're creating a tracking form on a website that allows you to have a sheet like this with tracking numbers and statuses, and someone is going to search for a tracking number you give them, and they're going to get the status. You can update this Google Sheet in real time, and they can go and check the form on a website and find the status at any time they want. So you don't have to keep people up to date on the statuses every time they ask. They can just check it. So we'll see 987654321. We'll go to our sheet. They'll be able to enter a tracking number on this Google site that's actually free. Sites.google.com allows you to create free websites. We can track it, see status delivered, and that status is here. So if we check 456 blah blah for pending, is it pending? Let's go check that tracking number track, and there it says pending. So anytime someone wants to find out where their item is, they can come here and try it out. So I'm going to show you how to create this step by step. The steps we're going to do is we're going to create this sheet. So we have a sheet with our numbers in it. We're going to create a little bit of an API that is over here. All of this we're going to do in this video. That's the main part of this video, and we're also going to create a Google site where if you're watching this on bettersheets.co, you can get this exact HTML, and this is the embed for it. If not, go become a member of bettersheets.co right now. So that's the 3 steps we're going to do in this video. We're going to create the sheet here. We have items, tracking number, and statuses. The big issue here is to make sure your tracking number and your statuses are aligned, right? That their tracking number is aligned with the status. That's all we need for the sheet. And now let's go create the API. So that's up in extensions app script. We're going to get through all of this, but for right now, when you open your app script, it's going to look like this, function my function. We're going to change this my function to doGet. This is a built-in function with a capital G, make sure. And we're going to get a URL. Essentially, what we're doing is creating our own API for this specific sheet that anyone can access anywhere. And I'm going to show you all the steps in this video. So what we're going to end up returning is return content service, create text output status. Now, we want a status that is defaulting, meaning if nothing is found, we want variable status equals tracking number not found. Now this allows us to say you're going to get something out of this anytime we access this. We will need to eventually in this video, I'll show you the steps, deploy this. This is the big button here. Deploy this as a URL and a web app and get a URL. But for right now, let's do all of the coding we need. So we need a tracking number because this URL is going to be when you submit the form itself over here is going to have this tracking number and is going to send it to the API and say, hey, what's the status of this number? So we're going to get the tracking number from that URL by url.parameter.tracking number. Now we need to get the actual tracking numbers. So we're going to say SpreadsheetApp.getActiveSpreadsheet, getSheetByName, and this is just tracking. This is just the tracking sheet itself. We want the statuses equals tracking.getRange. This is C:C, and this needs get values. What's going to happen here is we're going to get an array of the C column. All of the things in the C column is going to be in a single array. We also want the numbers. Variable numbers equals the same thing, tracking.getRange, but B column get values. You change these two here, the B and C column, if you have different location of your values. Basically, we're just going to look through the numbers column, find a match, and then give the statuses back. So we have our tracking number not found, and now we create a for loop. For I equals 0, I is less than numbers, dot length, and I plus plus. Now this for loop is going to go through every single number here, these values, this array, and if tracking number, this number we get from the URL, is equal to numbers I, and we're going to get just the item in that array, then we're going to do something. We're going to say variable status equals statuses, same spot in the array. So this I, there you go. So this is all we need. This is all of the code we need before we deploy. Deploy, new deployment. We're going to deploy as me, but anyone has access. We'll hit deploy, and we're going to get a URL from this. This is going to be a very important URL where we can copy this. Now what's going to happen is if we open an incognito window and we paste this URL, and at the end we do question mark tracking number with capital N equals, let's go grab one of the tracking numbers, so 147. So see, this URL is just saying, hey, go to this URL, add the parameter tracking number equals this number. We're going to hit enter, and it says in transit. So this is our API now that anyone can access with any tracking number, but we're going to clean it up. We're going to create it at the back of a form. So we're going to create a form that someone can enter their number in and get this response from. We're going to show it nicely. But that's the general idea of this URL and this web app. Make sure we have this URL. We're going to grab actually just all of this URL up to exec. We can always get it from deploy, manage deployments here, this web app URL, copy that. That's the URL for this, and this doGet is really awesome because now we have an embed. Now this embed code, I've created it essentially as a form up here, just called tracking form. On submit, it's saying fetch the tracking status, and then here's this script that's written in JavaScript that essentially says go to this URL, add this tracking number here, and then get the response and add it to a little text here that says status. That's it. So the only thing you need to change if you have this code is right here, this URL. Paste our new web app URL right here on line 13. Again, if you want this code, go over to bettersheets.co and get it. Everyone watching this on bettersheets.co can get this code. I'm going to copy this because we're going to go create let's delete that. This is a Google site. We can get to it by site.new.2/2. Just create a brand new Google site. That's all we did. We didn't do anything else to this. And all we're going to do is on the far right, click embed, change it to embed code, and paste our embed code. So all of this has been written. Again, this is just a form with a status that literally text that says status and a script that says go to this JavaScript, go to this URL, and get the response. Pretty cool. Hit next. It's going to look like this. Hit insert. We can extend this all the way out. Hit publish. Click publish. You're going to have to publish this publicly, and then we're going to get a link. Publish site link, copy link. I'm going to open, I already have an incognito open. Incognito is going to be easier to do. Paste this. So this is just at sites.google.com/bettersheets.co/delivering happiness. Enter a tracking number, and if we enter a tracking number that is like doesn't exist, let's see what happens. Not found. So let's move this out of the way a little bit. Go find a number that actually exists in our sheet. 7543. Enter that, out for delivery. So now that is done. We have our Google site, we have our API created, and our sheet. Everything is happy. If you are trying to do this somewhere else other than bettersheets.co, we just need a form and a script that goes to this URL. That's it. That's how to create a tracking number getter in Google Sheets with a front end on a website that anyone can access anywhere. We just did that in about 10 minutes. Hopefully you can do that too. Enjoy. Pretty simple in this video. We're going to add an NPS score taker or rater to your Google site. It's going to use a little bit of app script, but I will show you, I will write it here live, so you will see it is not that much. And if you're a Better Sheets member and watching this on bettersheets.co, you can get this exact sheet down below if you're on bettersheets.co. If you're anywhere else, all right, got to go to Better Sheets to get it, or Udemy as well. I might pop this into Master Spreadsheet Automation. What we're going to do is we need a Google site, right? We have a Google Sheet. This is a brand new sheet, but let's get a brand new site.new/3 because I have a bunch of accounts, but this is a brand new Google Sheet page, Google site, NPS score. You can write whatever you want here. We're just going to add some buttons. We're going to go over to the right side. We're going to add a button. We're going to call this 1. We will get a link. What an NPS score does is it will allow someone who is buying your product, using your product, to rate you 1 to 10. How likely are you to refer this product to someone else, to a friend? You can insert these 10 buttons and this anywhere on your site into a section or on another page. If you're like, hey, go over to my NPS and rate me, let me know how I'm doing, right? And the question is, how likely are you to refer this product to your friends? And it is going to be a number between 1 and 10. And we will take in that number with this button. So this is going to be a button. We need a link. How do we get a link? Let's call this and score. And then we also want a timestamp, because the data that we're going to get in is going to say a number. And we will be adding up that number to get a total aggregate score, or averaging that number. But over time, what we want to do is increase that number, right? And say we want the end result to increase over time, meaning we don't want to take the aggregate of everything. We want to know what came in first. So that's why we do it. So let's go to AppScript and start coding right away. It's not going to be much, don't worry. And again, you can grab this sheet down below if you're on bettersheets.co. So the function we need right now is going to be a do. We need an event or some parameters here. We will just say the letter E here. We can also say event if you want, but we're just going to use the letter E, one letter. What do we want? We want the score. So when we get the URL, we are going to add to it a parameter that says score. And that will be E variable score equals E.parameter.score. And we can say the name of this, we can set it whatever we want. You'll see later that we will use the word score to get this. And I'll show you how to do that on the URL. But what are we going to do with the score? We're going to go to the spreadsheet that we have here, go to sheet 1. Actually, we're going to call this scores, all uppercase. We're going to get the active spreadsheet, this entire file that we're in now. We're going to get getSheetByName. We're going to go to scores. We are going to find getRange. We're going to find the last row. We're going to put into column 1, column only one size, 1 by 1. We are going to set the value, and this value will be the score. But what is this last row? Let's go find it. We will need all of these scores again, like the sheet scores. So actually I'm going to cut it and call it variable scores sheet equals, and it'll just be this score. So we'll call this scores sheet.getRange set value. But we need that last row. So we'll say variable last row equals scores sheet.getLastRow. Simple as that. We just get the last row, but we don't want to actually put it on the last row. The issue is we're going to get the last row. The last row means the last row that has data in it. We don't want to rewrite over and over again. So we need to add +1. Get the last row, add 1. Make sure we're adding a row each time. So actually I will go here. I'm going to delete all of these rows. We're going to then do scores sheet dot append row, and we're just going to append a row at the end, and then we're going to put right under the last row, set the value score. We also want to do one more thing, which is take all of this, and we're going to set one more value in the second column, and that value will be the timestamp. What is the timestamp? Let's add it up here and call it variable timestamp equals, I'm going to format it, but really you just need new date with a new, then capital D date with parentheses. You really only need that, but it's going to give you a timestamp, and that timestamp is going to have all like milliseconds, everything. So we're going to do utilities dot format date, and wrap this in parentheses. And then as you see here, we can choose the time zone. Let's just choose actually just GMT. Doesn't really matter. You can set any time zone you want, -6 +8, whatever you want. Format. This is going to be the interesting part. We can format this any way we want. We're going to do the year, month, hyphen, the day, and also a space, an hour, colon, and then 2 M's for minutes. Okay, I'm going to do all that. Now, here's the important part. We are going to name it and then deploy it. Name it getter, click deploy, new deployment. We need a URL. Basically, we're allowing this spreadsheet to be open to the public, but only through this URL, and only going to do exactly what we have selected it to do. We're going to select the type web app. We will execute as ourselves, as me, and it will be available to anyone. So anyone that has this URL can enter some score. I'll show you how that works. But they will only be able to do that. That's a really cool thing about this doGet and allowing this web app URL to be out there. People can't enter your sheet. They can't edit or delete your sheet at all, but they can do whatever you've prescribed for them to do. We will authorize access. The access they will have is that they can enter a new line. We will allow, which is pretty simple stuff. Just to be able to enter a line, set a date, done. We will copy this web app URL once we get it, and we will now put a link here in our Google site. Again, the name of the button is just 1 because we just want the score of 1, but we have a link that we will use for the entire, all 10 numbers, but at the end we will do 1. So that's all we need to get the data of the score 1 into this button. So we will insert that there, we will duplicate it, we will call it 2. At the end, we will write to update. Let's put this next to there and let's test this, right? Let's see how this is going and is it going to work, right? Let's publish our sheet to NPS. Let's see who can view it. We want the draft restricted, but we want the publish site to be anyone public, right? We want to direct people here to score us. Or maybe we're adding this already to our sheet or to our site. All right, let's click publish. It is published. We can view it, but in order to execute these things, we need to do it on a incognito tab because we can't do it. Let's delete all of that and just get the bare URL. There we go. We have an incognito tab. We have one. It's going to maybe give us an error. Yeah, we need an error. Oh, we need to fix this. So back in our code, I think we used append row. Yeah. We don't need to actually do this. We can do insert row after last row. Let's do that instead of the append row. And we need to deploy this. We can keep the same URL if we click on manage deployments. We go to our untitled one, which is the only one we have. Click edit and we select the new version. We can add a new description, insert row. Click deploy. We will keep the same URL. Let's go. Actually, we need to do something else too here. One thing I just totally forgot to do is return content service. And we're just going to return a code that says 200. Hey, it worked. ContentService.createTextOutput 200. This will show up to the user. So let's actually not just say 200. Let's say thank you. You scored, you entered a score of, and then add a plus and the score, whatever they entered. So let's see if that's going to work. Manage deployments. Again, we will make sure it is deployed. We will edit up here, version, select new version, and do added return. Deploy. Again, it should be the same URL, so we don't have to actually change our site. We can go to our site in an incognito window. Let's click on the number 1, see what happens. You entered a score of 1, did we? Let's go check our sheet. And there we go. We have a score of 1, and we have the timestamp. We have the exact timestamp that it was selected. So what's really cool now is we can obviously duplicate this as many times as we want, edit this to 10, edit this score to 10, update. Now let's duplicate it again, right? And you can see where we're going with this. We're going to have 10 buttons here. How likely are you to refer this to a friend? How likely are you to refer our product, let's just call it Better Sheets, for Better Sheets to a friend? How likely are you? Let's vote, right? We can decrease this a bit. We still need to add a few more here. Just trying to format it so it all fits here on one line. Let's make sure we have them all. Let's view publish site. We can delete all of this stuff. And again, we just need to use the incognito tab just because of our script, because we're logged in. Let's click 9. Double check that it's all working. You entered a score of 9. Perfect. Let's do 10. Enter a score of 10. Let's see, is it on the Google Sheet? It is on the Google Sheet. Now, what's really cool is we can insert a row above and be like, here's our average score. Average, A. We have a score of 6 now. Let's do some more. I'm going to click 9 a couple more times. And we're just looking at this, that it's entered a score of 10. Great. Let's go back to our sheet. Score of 7, average score of 7.8, right? So it's just averaging this, and now we have a live score, an NPS score, Net Promoter Score, and it's getting it from Google Sites. In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect Google Sites buttons into Google Sheets, so you can do like upvoting or voting on different topics, or like you can do an NPS score or Net Promoter Score if you want to assign different buttons, different values. You can ask for feedback, thumbs up, thumbs down, meh. You can create all sorts of buttons, and I'm going to show you how to create a button here on your Google site. I'm going to actually publish this, and we're going to get information every time someone clicks on something. We're going to get that information, a count, and a rotating count, and upwardly, it's going to count the number of times people click on it. Let's say we're doing an NPS score, or rather a thumbs up or thumbs down. So we want thumbs up and thumbs down. Obviously, we're going to start with 0 as the starter, and we're going to have to create our Google site, and the connection between Google Sites and our Google Sheet is going to be a web app that we deploy, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that for free here in Google Sheets. So right now, we're going to create that app script here, and we're going to do site.new/3 as well. We're going to create a brand new Google site. This is totally free sites you can create, and we're going to say, won't you like this? Do you like this? We're going to, on the right side over here, scroll down to button. We're going to say thumbs up. And we're going to put a little emoji here. Thumbs up. We need a link here. So let's see what that link is going to be. We're going to create a function in our web app, and we're going to call it thumbs. We're going to say doGet, and here we're going to say SpreadsheetApp.getActiveSpreadsheet. Actually, we need parentheses there. Sorry. SheetByName. We have just one sheet so far, so it's going to be sheet 1, and we're going to get the range of the count where we're going to add it. That is going to be a 2, and we're going to get the value that's there. Get value. We're going to assign this a variable count equals. Now we're going to take this entire thing we just did and paste it and say SpreadsheetApp.getActiveSpreadsheet.getSheetByName sheet1 getRange A2, so the range of A2. Instead of get value, we're going to set value. And what value are we going to set? It's going to be count plus 1. We're just going to add 1 to that count. Okay. Now, this is the tricky part. We're going to go up to, I'm saying that ironically because it's just a couple clicks. We're going to click deploy. We're going to click the new deployment. And here we will select our type web app. We need to allow anyone that has access to this URL to access it. So we're going to click anyone, but we will want to execute it as ourselves. And we're going to deploy. When we deploy, Google is going to give us back a URL. And this may take a moment now because I'm recording this. If I'm not recording this, it's like sending data back and forth real quick. All right, it's asking us to authorize it. We will authorize it. And we just need, I wanted to do this in real time. We just need that URL back. Just give us that URL. Come on. Here we go. We got this web app URL. So if you notice here, we have a deployment ID and a web app. We only need the web app URL. We can copy that, click done, go back to our site, and the link of the button is going to be this here. I just remembered we have one thing to do actually before we insert. Actually, it's going to be the same link anyways. We want to return something here. This is editing the sheet, but we need to return something to basically the link that's coming in, the sending of the link. We need to send back, hey, it's okay, which is going to be a 200 code in computer speak. So we're going to say return, and then we're going to use ContentService.createTextOutput. On all we need is 200. This is just saying, hey, everything worked totally fine. If there's an error, it'll do something else. But we just want to return to the URL that's giving us the data, hey, it's okay. So we save that. In order to update our deployment, go up to deployment, manage deployments. You could do a new deployment and you'll get a new web app URL, but we can also just edit this and call it a new version. Let's say updated. Everything else stays the same. Click deploy. We should get exactly the same URL here. The web app URL, not the library, but the web app URL should be the same. Let's double check it. Yeah, it is the same. We're going to insert that. Do you like this? Thumbs up. Let's give this a little bit more room. Let's do there. And we're going to, I think we need to publish it. And we're going to call this, do you like this? And hit publish. And actually we need to update the parameters, publish settings, I think. No, I think it's share with others. Yeah, we want this to be anyone with the link, anyone, it's a published site to the public. There we go. Nope, actually restrict the edit. Sorry, the published site is the one. Don't let anyone edit it, but let everyone have access to the link. So we will now view published site, and we can actually go right here and do an incognito tab. There we go. Do you like this? And so now we have a totally public site that is available to thumbs up. Let's check if this works. We're going to click thumbs up. It's going to open another tab here, and it should say 200. That 200 is exactly the message we sent. So we can add some text here if we want. Let's go back to our sheet and see thumbs up 2. Okay, let's go and click thumbs up again and see if that number is up. It updates to 3. So every time I click this thumbs up, I'm getting that count is going up. This is really cool, right? We can create a button on a Google site really quick within less than 10 minutes, which is actually a few minutes. But let's see, can we do it so that we can get the same message, but attach to it different information, thumbs up and thumbs down. Let's see, and give us return a different thing. Because what's going to happen is, let's close all of these. If we try to do a little bit too much in this doGet, it can only take in one thing and return another thing. But so we need to know what is the difference between two parameters. We need to give it the parameters up or down. And so we're going to go variable vote equals e.params vote. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of text to this URL, which allows us basically, I'll show you here. So we will duplicate this and call it thumbs down. Let's do an emoji there. At the end of this, we're going to do question mark vote equals down. And on the other one, on the up, we're going to use the exact same URL, except our vote is up. Okay, so when someone clicks that button, they'll send the URL, the same URL we were doing with this count here, but now we have some extra information. We know what the vote is, and we get it by using e.params.vote. And so now this vote is either going to be up or down. So based on that information, if vote is equal to up, then we want to do one thing. And if vote is equal to down, we want to do another. So now we can execute two different things based on what that information is. So we're going to cut that, what we were doing before. Actually, we're going to take all of this count. And now we're going to execute the up the same exact way. We're not going to change anything. We're going to copy it, and we're going to edit a few things. We're going to edit this A2 to B2, which is, remember, our B2 here. And we're going to take the B2 range and set the value to count up. Down. The count is going to go up, but it's the number of downs we have. We also want to say, what did you vote for? You voted, and now we hit plus vote. So that same variable that we used to say, which one did you do? We're going to tell you back, hey, you voted up or you voted down. So we're going to save this. Again, we need to deploy. So we're going to make sure it's saved. This takes a little bit of time sometimes. Deploy, manage deployment. So exactly the same URL here. We're going to get a new version updated with up and down param. We're going to click deploy. Again, the URL is not going to change in this way. If we did a new deployment, the URL would have changed. We can actually double check that this is, we can just look at the last few letters, GQ, and this is the same here, GQ. Okay, so let's update this. Let's make sure it is published. Yep, we want to publish it. And now let's look at a live version. Think copy publish site link. Let's see. Will it update? Okay, it finally updated. Great. It just took a little bit of a moment. Let's make sure we're getting that message. Type error. We need to read the properties a little bit differently. So I think I actually messed this up. It should be parameter. I think let's try that. Let's deploy again, manage deployments. We were updating version 3 to the new, updated with parameter. Let's deploy as well. And the good thing about not changing the URL is we don't have to update the published site. This URL again is the exact same. So our published site should now work. Let's just view published site and let's click thumbs up and see if we get the same error. Oh, I think it's because I didn't open it in an incognito window. That's the only issue. Okay. Same. Sometimes with Google Apps Script, you have to execute these things as if it wasn't you. Let's see. Fingers crossed this works. You voted up and click down. Let's see. Did we vote down? You voted down. And let's check our sheet as well. And we have a vote down. So this is really awesome. Again, use an incognito window if you get that error message that it's like, this is messing up. But the mess up that we did fix was making sure, look down here, that we're using e.parameter, not e.vote. So that was the only issue there. I hope this was really exciting for me. One of my first tries at Google Sites. And it's relatively easy knowing that you can create this doGet inside of Google Sheets and AppScript. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to embed a Google Sheet to the web. As opposed to sharing your Google Sheet as a link and allowing people to edit or even view your Google Sheet, you can embed a Google Sheet into a website. So once you have your Google Sheet open, go up to File over in the top left corner. We're going to click on the Share menu, and instead of Share with Others, we're going to click Publish to Web. It'll bring up this modal. We have to go not to link, but click Embed, and we can embed the entire document. We're going to click Publish. Are you sure you want to publish this selection? Okay. This will give us an iframe code to put in any website we want to embed it to. So we're just going to copy this code. I've created a Google site here. Over on the right side, we're going to click Embed, and we're going to change it to Embed Code. We're going to paste the exact iframe that we had there, that we got from the Google Sheet. And then we're going to insert, and now we have an embedded Google Sheet in our Google site, published to the web. In a previous video, I showed you how to embed Google Sheets into a Google site or any website at all. I'm going to show you how to do it better or bigger in this case, because on the left side, we see what is the normal embed. If you haven't watched that video, let me show you how to embed a Google Sheet. We have this Google Sheet of data. We have different tabs. I'm going to go up to File, Share, and Publish to the web. And here we have two options, Link and Embed. Let's embed just one tab. It'll give us this iframe code. So I'm going to copy that. And over on Google Sites, I'm going to insert on the right side. Here we're going to have to select Embed Code and paste this. If we hit Next, we'll see that the code looks like this, the end result. We can insert it, and it looks very tiny. But let's make it bigger. Let's go back and edit this. Right after iframe, So here's the entire code, and it's just an iframe. We're going to write width equals, and in quotes, put 100%. This means that it'll be as wide as possible. Height equals, and in quotes, I'm going to put 750 px, or pixels. Make sure there's a space after that quote. Hit next, and now it is very different. It is as wide as we want it to be seen, and if we keep increasing the height, you can see here that it fills the entire space. There we go. So this is a much better embed than before. Hopefully this fixes all of your embed problems. If you have actually any other embed problems, or if you have any issues, comment down below. If you're looking to get more out of your Google Sheets than you ever have before, create cool automations, do nice designs in Sheets, subscribe here on Better Sheets on YouTube. We will create an embedded email form and name form into a website. We'll use Google Sites, from Google Sites into a Google Sheet. Now, what this does is it builds on email to Sheets. This is a previous video where I showed you how to capture an email from your Google site or website. It's an embedded HTML form directly into Google Sheets. You don't need to use Zapier. You don't need to use anything. Unfortunately, I want to just prepare you for a little bit of information here. This is super unsophisticated and unsecure. I just want to make sure that you understand that. We're using Google servers in a Google Sheet. So if you haven't watched the other video, it's okay. I'm going to try to go over that very quickly here. Basically, we have this HTML that we embed onto the site. And we're going to create a web app deployment URL from AppScript that's essentially going to do this do post. It's going to take in a URL that it gets sent, and it's going to parse it for the parameters of email. Now, someone has asked, a member has asked, hey, how do you add more parameters? How do you add a name here? And so that's what we're going to do in this video. There's a lot of moving parts to this, so I'm going to try to explain it in a drawing very quickly. So we have a website. We have a website and a Google Sheet. Let's make the Google Sheet green and the website blue. All right, and we want the form here. Let's make this white. A form here to enter your email. And what it does is, in this form, it's a JavaScript, and when you hit submit, it sends to a URL. Where that URL is not actually going to be on the sheet. Actually, it is on the sheet, but it's on a little part of the sheet called AppScript. So we're going to create AppScript here. We'll make that gray, let's say. And here in AppScript, we're going to do what's called a do post, and we will deploy this, and this is going to be deployed to web as a web app. And what this deployed to web app AppScript does is it creates on Google servers a URL that you can send data to. So now this AppScript and this form will have a connection, basically extremely insecure connection. Sorry to keep saying that. I just want to harp on that just to make sure you know what you're dealing with here. But essentially just a URL that you send a little text parameter that says the email is equal to whatever the text is in this box. And then it's going to send it to this AppScript. The AppScript is going to take it and parse that for the parameter that it's the text that says the email, and then it's going to enter it into a sheet. And so we have the sheet here, which I'll show you here, emails. And it's just going to go add the email here, and we're going to also add a date. So the AppScript looks like this. It's just a do post. This is a built-in function that we can deploy as a web app, and it just takes in what we're going to call a URL. That's just the text we use, the variable. And now this all works. Let's actually make sure it works. I created the code here for you to enter the web app deployment URL. Let's get that. Let's do that first. Let's get the URL. I want to deploy new deployment. And this is just deploying the entire AppScript. We're going to execute as me, but anyone has access. I'm going to hit deploy, and it's going to give us a URL. This URL, this is what we want to enter into the form. So it's going to take a little bit of time. We do have to authorize it. Okay. Again, this takes a bit of time, like moments, not hours, obviously. I haven't paused the video yet. All right, here's our web app URL. So in our form HTML, we're going to put in, actually, I made it really easy. You just copy it into this C2, and then it's going to substitute it. So now we have this text here with the URL. So let's go and embed that into our sheet. We're going to embed the code, paste, next. That is what it looks like. Insert it. And let's publish this at email and name to Sheets. Publish. So now we have a Google site. Let's go view that. It's going to be at, I don't know if you can see this URL up here, but it's sites.google.com/bettersheets.co/email and name to Sheets. Let's enter a email address. Andy@gmail.com. Hit submit. You've successfully registered. So we added that text actually right here. You've successfully registered your email. And if we go back to our emails, we can see Andy@gmail.com, and we have a timestamp and a date here. Great. So now let's add name. So on our, let's do this here first. So we want to capture the name first. So we have this variable email. It's just params.email. So we can do variable names equals params.names. And then we need to set the value. So we're going to put the value in, let's put it in column 3, names. I'm saying names here because there might be a saved parameter called name. Let's just try name. If it doesn't work, we're going to rename this names. But let's just try name. Or, yeah, that's it. That's all, name. We can also do this like first name. That might be better. First name. We'll do all lowercase here, but have this uppercase N here. Let's do that, just to make sure it works. On our code, we need to create another input. So we see this input name equals email. See, and that's also why I wanted to first name. So input name equals first name. And we're putting it in an input tag here. The other thing we need to do is in this form action, I don't know if you can see this, we have we've concatenated this URL, !email equals, and then we put in the form.email.value. So we're going to add to that. We're going to do another plus, and then a single quote, and do first name equals, do a single quote, a plus. Now form.firstname with a capital N, first name, dot value. So now we should be adding this first name in text equals, and then with this form.firstname.value, we're going to add that name. Let's hit that, and let's update we've updated our script. Let's deploy again so we can manage deployments. We don't have to redo the URL, we just have to update the configuration. I think we just go edit, new version, added name, first name, deploy. If we get any errors, it might be something around the text, or we might have forgotten something. Okay, we don't have to update the URL, but we do have to update this here. We're going to add that first name there. Next. Now this is going to be a little funky because we have two input forms. We have a label. Let's add a label here as well. We need to do command enter to get a new line label, and let's put it a break so that it does it on a new line. Enter your first name. Okay. let's take all that text, update this. Next, let's look at it there. Enter your email, enter your first name. There are these quotes. You know, these quotes come from copying from the sheet. We can delete those quotes. Next, there. Enter your email, enter your first name, save. Let's publish. We don't want to review published changes. We just want to hit publish, publish, view. And now let's see if it works. Enter your email, andy@gmail.com. Andy, that's not my email. Let's see if you've successfully registered. And in our emails, oh, we have done something wrong in our app script. Let's look at our app script and see. I think we deployed it. Params.firstname. We have a third row here, so what is going on? It might be in the JavaScript. Let's look at the script code. Oh, you know what? I did forget one thing here. Before this first name, I think we need an ampersand. That's what we need. Forgot that one little bit to separate the email and the first name. Okay, let's go update this code here. Next. Save. Oh, and let's get rid of those quotes just so that it's cleaner. Just the double quotes and just from copying from the Google Sheet. Let's hit publish. This will work now. View. We're going to open yet another one. Let's enter email, Andy Franklin@gmail.com. Andy with a capital A. Let's see if that works. Submit. You've successfully registered your email. Great. Let's go check our emails. Perfect. It's working now. Now we have separated the email and the first name. Awesome. So that's how you add more stuff if you want to capture things. So all of those parts in summary are update your app script, this do post, create a parameter here. This parameter name, params.firstname, is going to be equal to this code in here where you need to put an input name equals and maybe put a line break to break it up so you can see them all. And then also add this form dot, whatever the parameter name is, dot value, and include it in the URL that you're sending to your app script. There you go. That is it. Pretty simple. Hopefully it's simple for you, but that's how you embed a name and any number of names. You can add first name, last name, maybe even some extra information. There are some different types of inputs you can add, like checkboxes, and you just need to figure out, and you can do this very quickly through ChatGPT, but basically say, hey, I have this HT input, which is a checkbox, so it has a value of either true or false. What is the value here that it's going to be? Maybe probably just true or false. But you can double check those different parameter types with ChatGPT. You should be pretty quick to figure out what JavaScript you have to add here. Form dot, the name of it dot value, what are you going to get? All right, hopefully that's helpful to you. If you're watching this on Better Sheets, down below is this app script here in the sheet. You can get this for free. If you're not yet a member of Better Sheets, become one today and grab the very handy dandy, enter your script and get the URL here, HTML. Thanks.